and everything. And I thought, wow, we got to ask her to, since everyone wanted to learn about healthy cooking, my goodness, how much healthier can it be than vegan cooking, right?
Yeah. So
thank you, Cynthia.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I'm Cynthia Dales, the new vegan sleever. That's my new handle, and we're doing a Facebook Live and a simultaneously Zoom call with one of our groups here in Phoenix. Awesome group, bariatric patients. So we're going to be rocking some creamy pumpkin pasta tonight. I got a couple options for that too, because I know some bariatric patients are more keto, paleo, and don't like necessarily to have the high carbohydrates. So I have another option for that too. So this is a really great recipe. My kid got me this awesome vegan college cookbook for Christmas, and it's got some really good recipes in it. But this is a nice one because you can hide the vegetables and stuff in it, and like your kids won't know. Actually, the pumpkin I'm using, most of the stuff I'm using is organic. I've kind of gone more, my mom's been a great motivator, but going more organic. The pumpkin in this is really great. It's organic, and what's nice about it is it's not super strong. So you think pumpkin, it's not that way at all. It's actually very mild. So you could put additional seasonings in it. I'm a little more on the bland side when I eat. My little sleeve doesn't necessarily always care for spicy, but you could pump this up with some cayenne or any kind of spices that you want to try. So I did a lot of pre-chopping, so we're going to go ahead and get busy. Actually, I made the noodles ahead of time. I use Ancient Grains noodles. They are a quinoa based product, and they actually have some pretty good protein in them, but they don't sit for me as heavy as regular pasta does. And actually a lot of restaurants are using this now too in town. So that's one of the things. And then I am actually going to cook, you can see this, it is some organic zucchini that's chopped up. It's not quite in Zoodles, but we're going to do that. And I know there's a lot of Zoodles available in the frozen section too. So we're going to do that simultaneously while trying to do the sauce. And the sauce is actually the star of this. So here we go. So this is our zucchini. Hi Lois, hi Susan, hi Lisa, hi everybody. So there's your zucchini right there. Oh, delicioso. So to start the sauce, what you do is you heat some olive oil. I actually use avocado oil. This has a really high smoke point. It's a 500-degree smoke point. It gives you all the advantages of eating avocado without eating avocado, because I'm not a big avocado fan, but it's very healthy. But I use a minimal amount. If you have a really good nonstick pan, you can forego using the oil. But I use this because it's got a lot of good polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats in it, which are actually healthy like eating an avocado. So we're going to turn this up on medium-high and get this rack in here. And so it recommends a half an onion. And when I made this the last time, the onions are like this. So gauge how much onion you like. I used about a quarter of it instead of half because it was like onion. So so what I like to do, can you guys see what I'm doing here? Here's my pan.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you move it to where the black pan is, it might be a little bit easier to see.
Let's try that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It cuts off on my screen.
Is that good there?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yep.
All right.
That's
Cool.
perfect.
All right, so we'll go this way then. Okay, so what you're gonna do is saute down some onions. I mince these ahead of time. I like onion. I use the sweet onions because they're not as sulfury. So we're gonna cook that down, get that going. And then the next ingredient is 4 mushrooms sliced. I used creminis, which are baby portobellos, and it says 4 mushrooms, and I chopped them up because I like mushrooms, so I chopped them up pretty small so they're bite-sized so they don't overwhelm. And then one of the other next ingredients after that, before we get into putting in the pumpkin, is spinach. And so it says a full cup. I like spinach, so I use a little bit more, but what I do is take the stems off. I find if you take the stems off, it's not as overwhelming. You don't get slapped in the face with them. So we're going to cook down the onions. as soon as my oven heats up. And then what I'm going to do in this other pan is I'm going to go ahead and start with zucchini, and that's just basically warming it up. So I'm going to give that a little bit. And you don't have to overcook the zucchini at all. You just warm it up a little bit. Okay. Anybody got any questions so far?
Yep.
All right. You guys are experts already.
Actually, I was going to ask you a question.
Sure.
You know, like fiber-wise, is it like the quinoa pasta or the zucchini? With either one, was there equivalent fiber content? Or?
Yeah, actually, the quinoa pasta, and this one has a lot of quinoa. This one actually has about 3 grams of fiber. This whole recipe makes enough for 2 people. It has 395 calories, and that's using the pasta. If you go with a zucchini, obviously it's going to be lower. It has 19 grams of protein in it. Now that will change a little bit based off the pasta, and only 5 grams of fat. It is a higher carbohydrate, but you're offsetting some of that with the fiber, and the fiber is about 11 grams. So that's pretty high. Which is good, because fiber is really important. I don't think people realize how, especially for weight loss and just general health, we don't eat enough fiber in our diet. That's why it's critical when we're eating something, half our plate should be fruits and vegetables, because that gets the fiber in there. So we're going to saute the onions until they get, I let them get a little bit of a head start before I put the mushrooms in, because mushrooms get wet. So I like a little good sear on my onions first. So we're going to let that go. And then I'm going to throw the zucchini in so we can start that. I actually went vegan. I started a plant-based diet back in November. I had a little bit of some of you guys know, you saw my message, but I actually had some issues with coronary artery disease. It's hereditary in my family, and my doctor said I had to be perfect, and I'm like, well, what's perfect? And he said, well, you got to be perfect, and I'm like, explain. So long story short, I went home. I wasn't happy with what he said, so I went home and I basically said, what's the best way to cure coronary artery disease? And they said a plant-based diet. And so I shifted gears and said, okay, we're going to do this. My mom was pretty much vegetarian anyway, and so I went ahead and said, all right, let's give it a shot. So I thought it was going to be a harder transition than it was. They actually recommend you go vegetarian first and then go vegan. For people who are eating a lot of protein, the shift is challenging. So, but for me, it was just like I was going to do this. So actually, it's been much better than I thought it would be. I was concerned about enough protein, but I used MyFitnessPal and I logged my food for about a week. And I get anywhere between, 45 to 65 grams of protein, just normal eating, because everything has protein. Even broccoli has a lot of protein, and people just don't realize it. So for me, it was a little bit of a shift, eating plant-based protein. The one thing with vegans that a lot of people don't realize is because you're not eating meat, you need to supplement B12. B12 comes from meat. So nutritional yeast, which is actually part of this, is a great substitute, a good way to get B12 into your diet. And it has like a cheesy kind of quality to it, a taste. It is a yeast, so it has that smell, but it gives you kind of that cheesy quality. So that's one way you can get some more in your diet. I do take a supplement of B12 anyway, and I know a lot of gastric patients do take B12, but they do recommend that you get some type of a B12 supplement if you go plant-based or vegan. So my onions are cooking a little bit here, so now I'm going to throw my mushrooms in. Sorry, I'm just trying to get stuff out of the way here. So again, you just want to cook this down. Stop me if I'm yakking too much or if you got some questions. I think I can hear you pretty well. All right. So the next thing you want to do is you want to throw your spinach in. So put in a good helping handful. I washed all this today and de-stemmed it. And you think you've got 500 pounds of spinach going in, but you all know how it goes, like down to nothing. So spinach has a lot of good vegetables, and they have all kinds of different. The baby spinach I like a lot. Get my noodles going here. Okay, and I'll post this recipe for you guys. If you're interested, I can post it for you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I know my mom and I were talking about this last night. I like sauces that have like nut butters in them, and you could actually probably put a spoonful of, like, I go to Fry's and get the ground peanuts. You could probably put that and almost give it a Thai feeling to it if you want to, because like I said, with this pumpkin is really mild, so you could really jazz it up. And if you're not a big mushroom fan, we were talking you could even add some more protein into it. Maybe add some just frozen vegetables or even some edamame. It gets you some more protein in it too. Okay. So the cool part about this dish is everything is in one pan, which is nice.
I like one pan.
Yes, exactly. Your pasta, obviously, you make, or they even have fresh pasta now that you can just dunk in water and poof, it's done. So after you get those slightly brown in the spinach, you get that going, then we'll let this melt down a little bit more.
It really shrunk that spinach. Oh, yeah. I've never really cooked the spinach. I usually use it in smoothies and stuff, but
So
it shrinks up stuff.
this is a ancient sea salt. You could put a little bit of salt in there. Like, we came across this brand. It's called Real Salt. I know Dr. B is a big fan of it, but we had come across it about 6 months ago, and I love it. It's got a nice. It has a nice mild flavor. It's not like overly salty, aggressive. So that's starting to wilt down nice. So now comes the fun part. You put the pumpkin and you put the milk in. Now, when I did this recipe before, it calls for a cup, 3/4 to a cup of nut milk. This is almond milk. It's the unsweetened, unflavored. It's about 30 calories per cup, which is a great way to put something in your coffee in the morning if you're like me. So the other thing I forgot to do is put some garlic in, because I like garlic. And I have my little toy here. My friend is watching, and I know she's Italian, and I think she'd probably smack me if I didn't put some garlic in here. So this little this toy is awesome, because you don't have to get your hands nasty and smelling like garlic. You just give it a little squeeze. And you don't want your...
I had a Pampered Chef one like that.
Yeah, I love this thing. That way you don't have to get your hands. Alright, so I'm going to turn this down a little bit because it's getting brown. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of milk in first. And then, so I use the milk as needed because the sauce will tighten up, and then I use a little bit more milk to loosen it up. But this is the pumpkin. It takes about 1/2 cup. That in. And like I said, if you like it spicy, you could probably put some cayenne in or some red chili flakes to give it a little more heat. I don't know if you guys have had problems with spicy foods, but I don't do super spicy foods anymore. And now,
ever since I had my gallbladder out.
Yeah, me too. It's gotten worse. Even black pepper. You put salt, pepper, obviously, in this to give it some seasoning. And you can see how it's loosening. I think you can see this. It's loosened up a little bit. So you want to bring it up to Can you see it okay? So, here we go.
Ooh, that looks good.
Oh, yeah. This is really good.
Sure, that's what good.
So don't tell your kids it's got pumpkin in it. Don't tell them. They will not.
Pumpkin is used for a lot of things
It
besides
is.
pumpkin.
And it makes a nice sauce because it actually it sticks to the pasta or to the noodles or to the zoodles really well. And you just let that finish warming through. You can put additional seasonings in it. Maybe a little sage might be good. My personal favorite on everything.
Is that Lowry's?
Oh yeah. That makes everything taste good. We were trying to think of how to make this a really good meal, especially with like kids, but I'm kind of a proponent of half your plate being fruits and vegetables. So this would be great if you had some applesauce with it, because it kind of has that, you know, pumpkin and applesauce.
Homemade applesauce.
Yeah, homemade would be awesome. But I get the
It's so easy.
Yeah. Or a chutney, even if you did a chutney with.
Ooh, a chutney sounds good.
Yeah, that would be really good. So.
Applesauce in your sauce? Or
You guys are gonna no, just to put on the side. Get some fruits and
on the side.
yeah,
okay.
get some fruits on the side for the kids. So as long as you let it warm, it'll tighten up a little bit more. If you like the sauce a little chunkier, it'll thicken up. And my zoodles are almost warm through here. And these are really easy. Can you see these? I mean, you just literally throw them in the pan, warm them up.
Yeah.
And I did not know this, but they even have the frozen carrots would be good, because we have the frozen carrot zoodles. You can make them yourself too, but this is kind of one of those dishes you can just see how fast. I mean, literally the chopping's like 10 minutes. You're chopping up some onion and some mushrooms, rinsing off some spinach. You throw the stuff in a pan, you basically warm it through, you warm your zoodle, and you got dinner. And that's pretty much it. So.
Cool.
So I really like this dish a lot. And you can do all kinds of variants, like I said, with it, because it's kind of a, I don't want to say a mother sauce, but a master sauce, and you can just doctor it up from there. Because like, one of my staples that I use a lot is even just the quinoa pasta. And you could probably put some veggies in it too. But, get a little bit more veggie if you like it in there. But it is really good just this way. So, we're almost ready here. So I appreciate your indulgence here, cooking while you're trying to talk at the same time. We had fun trying to position everything today to get this to make it so that you guys could see, and my dog didn't want. My dog didn't.
Talking about that. How is she going to do it?
Well, I'm very lucky that I have a 19-year-old that's becoming my audio-visual person.
A 19-year-old that's a nerd.
Yes. So, you should see my kitchen right now. Tripods, laptop, or tablet hanging from. So, that's it. That's pretty much it. It's ready to go. I did some pasta. This is one of their pastas. It's a rainbow. And you just can heat that up. Looks really. Just put that on there. So, I wish you could smell. Smell.
I know. That looks yummy.
It's so easy to make. And that's it. I mean, literally, that's it. That's the whole recipe. So
you can just top the noodles off with the pasta sauce. You don't mix them all together.
Hang on just a sec. This is the nutritional yeast I was talking about. You put a little bit of this and it gives a little cheesy flavor. They have different kinds of them. You can get Bob's Red Mill, but you put that in there. I think it calls for a couple, but it gives it a nice cheesy kind of flavor.
Is that refrigerated or is
yeah,
that
my mom keeps it refrigerated. There's different kinds of them. It just seems to keep it fresh.
Do you buy it refrigerated?
No.
Or is it okay, so
yeah,
it's
and
like
you can,
in the baking section.
Yeah, and you can buy it at Sprouts, Natural Grocers, basically anywhere. In like Bob's Red Mill has it online that you can order it online. I like it.
Okay.
But yeah, you just put a little bit of that in there. I think it calls actually for a couple tablespoons, but it's an acquired taste, I will say. So it was something I had to learn to appreciate being a new vegan. So if you do get it in a smaller quantity and kind of try it. Because it does have a yeast flavor. But it does a lot. My mom uses it on just plain popcorn. She loves it.
Well, if anybody's looking for yeast, it took me like 2 months, but I finally found yeast.
Oh, wow.
Too late for Easter for my bread, but and I make bread anyway.
Thank you, Annalise. Appreciate the feedback and everybody here. Man, look at all you guys. I got all these wonderful ladies here. Hi, Susan. Most of you guys know each other from the Dr. V Challenge, so that's awesome. So anyway, I'm signing off. Hi, Jason. I'm going to sign off of Facebook now, and it'll be on replay so I can talk to these ladies up here without keeping you guys hanging here. So anyway, there's my finished product, my sauce.
Oh, yummy.
And there's the noodles cooked. So I should probably get a plate and eat while you guys are talking. Bye, Facebook.